Science fiction is more than just robots and time travel. It can also be about obsessing over clouds, untangling conspiracies, and fighting your own daughter to the death. No matter what timeline you're in, these are the best sci-fi movies of 2022. You may have seen this title hopping around the genre festival circuit last year, but its official release this past January went a bit under the radar. That's a big shame, because Junta Yamaguchi's time travel film really is a wildly fun ride. While primarily known for being shot in one take and entirely on an iPhone, it is more than just a technical achievement. It's a genuinely intriguing story of how we need to spend the time we have on this earth to the fullest extent. As the colorful cast of characters travels through the Kyoto cafe that serves as the film's sole location, the stakes quietly keep stacking up. There's an infectious energy throughout Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes that makes the viewer genuinely invested, even if the plot can be a little convoluted at times. Much of this has to do with the highly energetic and eclectic Europe Kikaku theater troupe, whose members play the various people who stumble upon this strange development. Every time they manage to see an additional minute into the future is one that will make you pump your fist in the air and keep you on the edge of your seat. The Predator franchise has always been hit or miss in terms of quality. The series desperately needed some fresh blood injected into it, and thankfully, it got exactly that this year with Dan Trachtenberg's Prey. At first glance, it seems completely different from any other entry in the franchise. Set on the Great Plains in 1719, it follows a young Comanche woman named Naru, played by Amber Midthunder, as she tries to prove her abilities as a hunter.
Why do you want to hunt? Because you all think that I can't.
It initially sounds like a far cry from the military or mercenary team-ups from the franchise's other films, but this new perspective works to reinvigorate the franchise. Previous entries got bogged down trying to recreate the magic of the original movie, but Prey gave new insight into the infamous predators and why they're so fascinated with hunting down humans. Plus, the fight scenes between the lovingly dubbed feral predator, played by Dane DeLegro, and Naru are genuinely amazing. Even if you aren't familiar with any of the lore surrounding Predator, there will be a lot for you to love about Prey. Those who grew up watching Sci-Fi know how fun it is to imagine a world where your favorite movies came to life. What if you really did find a benevolent alien in the woods, and you helped it get back to its home planet? What if you had to fight to survive an encounter with a much meaner group of aliens? That's the dilemma that a group of young Inuit teenagers faces in Slashback, when their hamlet becomes ground zero for an alien invasion. Perhaps the most striking element of Nyla Inukshuk's film is the way the aliens infect their prey. Their bodies become hollow husks as the parasite takes over, leaving a striking image that will be on your mind for days. The special effects, both practical and CG, are also quite impressive, although that probably isn't surprising given Inukshuk's work on virtual reality programs. However, what truly makes the film stand among the best of the year is how it utilizes the alien invasion as a potent metaphor for colonialism. Given how truly rotten some of the most influential sci-fi writers were, the importance of reclaiming and reinventing these tropes in a way that is not only thought-provoking, but just flat-out fun, can't be understated. Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead movies are sure to inspire confusion, curiosity, and wonder. Something in the Dirt is certainly no exception to this, and it's a bit of a miracle that something so richly constructed could be made on a shoestring budget and crew. There is so much happening in Something in the Dirt that it might be overwhelming to try and explain it all in a brief slide. In short, it's a fascinating exploration of the influence of conspiracies and isolation on those who are more vulnerable than they might think they are. You know the types, the people who say they would never fall for an obvious scam but do anyway. Instead of being happy or intrigued with each new discovery made by our central characters, there's a distinct sadness looming that only becomes more obvious as the film progresses. However, that very sadness is also integral to experiencing Something in the Dirt, and you'll be hard-pressed to find another movie like it this year. Have you ever wanted to watch a sci-fi movie with robots that also made you cry? Director Kogonada certainly has, and we're all the better for it. Because how else would a movie like After Yang enter our lives? The world that the director, who burst onto the scene with 2017's Columbus, creates here is not that much different from ours. It's got viral dance challenges, uncomfortably smart homes, places that feel crowded yet empty at the same time. The real difference is that humanoid robots are typical house decorations, and in the real world, we're not quite there yet. With the layered and heart-wrenching presence of Justin H. Min's Yang hovering throughout the film, After Yang will likely stay with you for a while, long after you finish watching it.
Are you happy? I don't know if that's the question for me.
Kogonada's previous career as a video essayist shines through his directorial efforts in how quietly contemplative each scene not only is, but feels. While certainly not a typical sci-fi movie, it would be extremely remiss of us not to take the time once again to sing the praises of the truly brilliant After Yang. The return of David Cronenberg had been prophesied for years, but 2022 marked the cult director's true revival as he returned to the body horror stylings that made his name so famous. As soon as Crimes of the Future begins, you feel uneasy. It might be because of the drab and isolated beach house we are first introduced to, or it could be the image of a young boy eating a plastic bucket. However, it is an uneasiness that you may not have realized you missed because it is quintessentially Cronenberg. This uneasiness is intentional for several reasons. After all, the director has a very distinct filmmaking style, even when he's not necessarily making sci-fi or horror movies. However, the most prominent is that this style is used to make the audience ask why it is associated with the director so much. Cronenberg knows that he is known for horrific body horror and uncomfortable sex, but he wants to know why he's known for that. That is ultimately what's at the center of Crimes of the Future. It is both a self-reflection and the broader exploration of artistic legacy, told in a way only Cronenberg could tell it. This film had to make an appearance here. After all, how could it not? It's got everything you could possibly want in a sci-fi thrill ride. Multiverses, romance, body swapping, outlandish outfits, and best of all, a nice life-affirming message. Add the incredible performances of Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan into the mix, along with the direction of Daniels, the director pair behind Swiss Army Man, and you've got yourself an instant classic in the sci-fi genre. Daniels, the directing duo consisting of Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, already made their mark as some of the most maximalist filmmakers currently working in the biz. As a result, Everything Everywhere throws a lot at the audience throughout its 140-minute runtime. There is a lot that shouldn't work about the film, from the multitude of characters played by the same actors to the juggling of intense, sometimes overwhelming imagery. However, Daniels somehow make it all work by keeping the story universal instead of overly specific. Everything Everywhere All at Once is ultimately about the power of relentless optimism in even the darkest moments, and that was something worth reiterating in 2022.
Please, be kind. Especially when we don't know what's going on.
Afrofuturism is an aesthetic that's been around in an official capacity since 1994, but hasn't really broken into the global mainstream. While a prevalent inspiration throughout the aesthetic of both Black Panther movies, it's still one that is relatively untapped, perhaps in part due to the structural racism that often blocks these types of films from being made. But what if you didn't have to rely on the Hollywood system to create a poignant story about love and identity? Saul Williams and Anisia Uziman didn't, and after a show-stopping debut at last year's Cannes Film Festival, the entire world got to see their Afrofuturist musical, Neptune Frost, for the first time this summer. There is obviously a lot to love about the distinct visual style that the film has. Bright colors, unique attire, and the controlled chaos of the environments automatically make the movie memorable. However, it is the way that the story unfolds itself over its runtime, often in non-linear or musically driven ways, that makes it such a unique experience. Neptune Frost is a movie where you are not told its story. Rather, it is one that you feel. And if you go in with the right expectations, it'll course through your veins like the electricity that powers the computers strewn throughout Burundi. Jordan Peele's sci-fi epic Nope starts with this quote from Nahum 3:6. "I will cast abominable filth upon you, make you vile and make you a spectacle." It's an epigraph that tells you everything you need to know, but also nothing at all. Who or what is this mysterious entity punishing humanity for spectacle? An angel? A demon? An alien? God itself? The incomprehensibility of Jean Jacket, the entity that haunts the skies of Nope, is exactly what makes Peele's third feature the best sci-fi movie of the year. It is haunting, dangerous, and yet completely shrouded in mystery. A perfect combination of traits for a compelling threat in all mediums of science fiction. The true extent of its danger is teased throughout the film in horrifyingly claustrophobic fashion. Of course, it's not just Jean Jacket as a character that makes Nope such a triumph in modern science fiction. It's the visual effects, the fantastic performances by its Daniel Kaluuya-led ensemble, and perhaps most importantly, its epic story about Hollywood worker exploitation and spectacle. Each element of Nope comes together perfectly as the story unravels. And thanks to Peele's tight direction, nothing feels out of place. With every detail filled with deep, thought-provoking intention, there truly was no other movie like Nope this year.